Coming up next on this edition of In the City, another new year brings another polar bear plunge jump at the SportsCom outdoor pool. Also, the Wedding Dresses Through the Decades exhibit at Oakland's Mansion. Plus, city school students learn from business leaders in our area. And St. Clair Street Senior Center offers free tax preparation for qualified seniors. We'll tell you all about those stories and more coming up right now on this edition of In the City. Welcome to another edition of In the City, your source for what's happening right here in the city of Murfreesboro. I'm Michael Linn White. As always, the first Saturday of January, people gather at the outdoor pool at SportsCom to plunge into frigid water. Last year had record-breaking temperatures, 20-degree air and 34-degree water. It was much different this year.
It helps the polar bears, and I just love freezing cold stuff.
I don't look forward to it, but I have to do it because if I have bad luck, it'll be my fault.
Costume, baby!
I want to catch hypothermia.
I'm doing it for my amazing wife.
Yeah, they talked me into it.
I'm actually wearing my heart rate monitor this time. I'm curious to see it'll either stop or go through the roof when I hit the water.
I'm not nervous, so I'm probably going to be okay.
We go to a Lighthouse Baptist and we're jumping for Jack Porter. He's a little 3-year-old. They found he's got a tumor on his brain, so he's already started chemo. Hey, we're rooting for you, Jack. You're going to beat this. You're going to beat it.
We missed Doug again. We got the hat here Forever Young. I do it and think of him every year, and glad to be able to do it. Praise the good Lord.
The YMCA, the SportsCom, all kinds of places collect food for us, and we distribute that to people that are in need in the community. We couldn't do it without the people that give and the volunteers that come in.
Plunge 2019.
Oakland's Mansion's #1 exhibit has opened up, and I was thrilled to get a private tour. Good afternoon, Murfreesboro. Michael Linn White here at Oakland's Mansion, where the Wedding Dresses Through the Decades exhibit is underway. And here to tell us about all the dresses here and what's going on, Director of Education, Mary Beth Nevels. Hey, Mary Beth.
Hi, thank you for coming.
Yes, I'm happy to be here. Okay, we're going to start out with some interesting dresses, and we want you to tell us all about it. So let's first go, my eye goes to this black one right here. Tell us, this is really interesting, so tell us a little bit about this one.
This is an $18.99 dress, and yes, it is black. It is a wedding dress. And this bride, she actually got married on June 21st. She wanted to get married on the longest day of the year because she didn't want her wedding day to end. So she has a sweet story that goes along with it. That's really cool. Do you know why it might be black? The family didn't know. It could just be that that's what she had or what was available. You're talking about $18.99 in Ohio, so it could have been many different reasons.
Now tell us, Mary Beth, really quick, for someone who has not been to this exhibit, because it's been going on for how many years now?
This is the 8th year.
The 8th year. And these dresses are donated by people in Murfreesboro, is that correct?
They're on loan from ladies in the community, and they change every year. So these dresses at the end of the exhibit go back to their owners, and then next year we'll have a whole new set of dresses and stories and photos.
Okay. Well, let's move on because I think it's really cool, and why a lot of people would want to come see this are these that are really old.
Yeah, the dresses date to the mid to late 1800s, 1870s, 1890s, and then we move on into the 1900s. And by having them through the decades and arranged by decade, you can see how the fashion styles change and how they're repeated sometimes.
Now, before we move on to one of the next ones, tell us, Mary Beth, I know this was kind of your brainchild, so tell everyone how this came about, because I've never seen an exhibit like this.
Well, a couple of us were sitting in the office and looking for something that we could do in this room in the wintertime when maybe our winter tourism, we don't have our out-of-town visitors as much, and we don't have our wedding rentals that we are working around. And Polly Ridley was one of our board members who had just passed away, and we had seen her wedding portrait, and it was beautiful. We thought, well, what if we could get her dress and 5 or 6 others and put them out for the community to come see? And we started asking around, and we ended up with 25 dresses that first year, and almost 1,000 people came through to see them. And from there, the exhibit has just grown to over 50 this year.
That's really exciting. So if you have not come to check it out, make sure you check it out. It's really neat and cool. So we're moving on to, now Murfreesboro has a large Laotian population, and this is new this year. Tell us about this one.
This is new this year. These are outfits that were worn in 2004 by a couple here in Murfreesboro. This is actually their reception outfit. They had a ceremony outfit that had green to it. So it's really neat to get some of the customs for their culture and be able to share that.
It's really neat to have something that unique a part of this. Okay, so, and there's so many here to choose from, again, through even up till 2018. So this one caught my eye over here, and I want y'all to see this. I thought it might have been a reception dress or something, but it's not. This is actually a wedding dress that's blue. So, and I know there's a little story behind that.
1954, and when the bride ordered the dress, she ordered it in white. And when it came in, just days before the wedding, it came in blue. And of course, pre-Amazon, she couldn't send it back, so she had to get married in her blue dress, and that became the family story, and that she was able to pass down.
I wonder if she was upset about it, or if she was just like, okay, do you know?
You know, I think at the time, she probably might have been a little bit, but she went with it, and now that's just something the family's proud of.
I think that's a really neat story. My eye immediately went to that one. And let's just talk about one more. I like these really interesting ones because there's always a cool story. Now we have a suit, not a traditional wedding dress, but a woman was married in this beautiful suit right here. Tell us about it.
It's a 1961. It's a little Bobby Brooks navy blue suit with a little white blouse that buttons up. They attended Central High School and were a very young couple. They did elope, and they don't have a wedding photo, but the photo next to it is one when they were dating. They didn't even know the photo existed. A neighbor took it. And when they were planning their 50th anniversary, they were talking to the neighbor, and he was like, I have a picture of y'all when you were dating. And it's just so sweet to see that little couple.
It's really neat because all of the dresses, you've worked really hard to have the story and the date of the dresses right next to it. So when people come, they really know the whole story of each dress.
Well, that's what gives the exhibit personality. It's not just the fashion and the dress, it's the oral history that goes along with it, and it tells you what was going on in Murfreesboro and in the country and the world at that time, whether it be the wartime brides and the groom that's in his uniform, or whether you are looking at the 80s and you see the influence of Princess Diana. It just gives you a little bit of history through fashion.
Why do you think this exhibit has appealed to so many and it's been so popular? It's one of your most popular ones, is that right?
Well, it is. It's part of our mission, education and preservation, and this links both. And because we have reached out to our community and involved our community, we have made such wonderful friends that, you know, they are lifelong supporters now. They have shared their story and shared their treasure, and they come year after year to see all of the others that are now on exhibit.
Great. Well, this is just a little sneak peek of what you will see if you come to this exhibit here at Oakland's, and it runs through, tell us when the date.
Through March the 3rd. It's open every day, Saturday through Monday, 10 to 4, Sundays is 1 to 4.
And how much is it to get in?
$10 to get in.
And really quick, we want everybody to know that if you want to tour the mansion as well, you can do a little bundle.
There's a little combo ticket that we can tell you about when you get here.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for joining us this afternoon at Oakland's. I'm Michael Linn White, CityTV. Hobgood Elementary welcomes a Rutherford County business to help students see beyond the classroom. Fourth graders at Hobgood Elementary get the chance to see how what they're learning in the classroom comes to life in the real world. Murfreesboro City Schools and a partnership with the Rutherford County Chamber of Commerce have different people from different careers come and share with the students about the connection from the classroom to the workforce.
They've been studying architecture and engineering, and the purpose for us to be here is to communicate, I guess, the importance of what they're learning and how it relates to us as the builders of what the architects and engineers draw up.
Representatives from Turner Construction, who have current projects here in Murfreesboro, led the students in interactive demonstrations from different aspects of a construction job site. And while fourth grade is very young to think about a lifelong career, teachers tell us it's never too early to plant a seed.
If you give them something that they get excited about, I think it will reflect later on when they try to decide what they want to do in the real world and in those job settings.
St. Clair Street Senior Center offers free tax preparation for those that are qualified.
The program is called Tax Aid. It's sponsored by the AARP Foundation. It's been operating now for, I think we're coming up on their 50th anniversary of the program, which is pretty fantastic stuff. They provide free income tax service for seniors and low-income people. The average is about 2.5 million people a year that they do. Out of the center here in St. Clair, we do about 1,000 returns per year, making us the highest local site here in Middle Tennessee. Yeah, the purpose of this is to provide free income tax service for those who might not be able to afford it in other cases or have very simplified returns, as many seniors do, to save them an average of $200 to $300 for each year's service. We do it on a free basis. We focus primarily on people with an income level of $53,000 or below. Yeah, in my career I was in the information technology industry way back to the big old mainframe type computers. And through the process of that, of course, I became involved in a lot of business work and business applications. After I retired, I talked to my brother, who happened to be working in a program that did tax service. Told me it might be something I would be interested in, and that was 15 years ago, and I'm still here. We cannot handle any farm income. We cannot handle any house rentals. We cannot handle small businesses in which inventory or depreciation is involved. The thing that is of concern to a lot of people is the security of their data. And so they need to be aware that we are quite conscious of that. The data is stored on encrypted databases. They are asked to sign consent forms that enable us to use that data for them in years to come, but it's protected in all other ways. Well, it is. You feel like it's a real service you're providing. First of all, people have a lot of difficulty doing their own returns, not aware of what they can do. Trying to go to a service is expensive for them, and they may lose anything they would have gained from having the return done. We can work with them because we see the same people year after year, and as a result we get to know them, we get to know their families and things like this, and we have more opportunity to really be close to what they're doing and know what their overall plans are going to be. You form a very close personal relationship. That was one of the considerations that I looked at when I first got in the program. I knew I could handle it from a mathematical point of view, but it's that close personal relationship that you have to get to. Once you get past that, you find it's really great. All of my team just look forward to seeing the same people each year.
The CSPAN Bus travels around the country visiting schools, political events, and state capitals. It recently made a stop at MTSU to help students get connected to their government.
CSPAN is a not-for-profit company that's mission is to make government more open to the American public. The CSPAN Bus that helps promote the company was recently on a southern swing, traveling for 8 weeks through Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona. It visited MTSU, and we were lucky enough to get a first-hand tour.
Well, welcome to the CSPAN Bus. We're here at Middle Tennessee State University, and we're so excited to be right here in Murfreesboro today, our only stop, and we're having an amazing time. The CSPAN Bus is a mobile education vehicle with a mobile studio inside as well, and that's exactly where I'm standing. So on the outside, it's this huge bus that says CSPAN, but when you come inside, it's super technical and you feel kind of like you're in a studio. Back here is our mobile presentation area when we're not using it as a studio. And so what you're seeing is our selfie station, and I'll show you here. It rotates to different backgrounds of DC and around the country. We have a C-SPAN microphone so you can pose and pretend like you're on the set in front of the Capitol or wherever you might be. Also, on this side of the bus, we have our 360 camera. So it takes you to different locations in DC or around the country. Currently, it's in a submarine, and it'll show you around. And it goes to other places like the White House press briefing room, the Women's March, a congressional conference, a military parade, and things like that. As we travel through the bus, you'll come to the back area where there's different couches, and this is where we do presentations to students, not only middle and high school students, but also university students as well. And so one thing that we love to highlight is our video library, which is on our website. It gives you full-on access to what we cover on C-SPAN. And so currently we have about 250,000 documented videos, which is a great source for students, for community leaders, or anyone who wants to be civically engaged, because not only do you see what's aired on C-SPAN, but you also have it all transcribed. So you can type in the search bar, Tennessee, Murfreesboro, your elected official, or whatever the case might be, and see every single video where that was mentioned. And the rest of the space is our studio, so we have a mini master control room in the back. We'll change where it says C-SPAN to be a map of Tennessee if we were live here today. And then we'll also hang up lights and make this look like a production studio or a classroom, whatever you like.
The Murfreesboro Water Resources Department explains a leak detection feature of the new advanced metering infrastructure. This AMI project was implemented in the last couple of years in Murfreesboro.
Many Murfreesboro Water Resources Department residential and industrial customers know that in the past year, new water meters have been installed. More than 26,000 meters have been changed citywide. The new system is called AMI, Advanced Metering Infrastructure. Reading meters has changed over the years.
Prior to this, everything we read was manually read. A person had to come physically to your house each month and read the meters. Now we've advanced. We're reading everything by new technology. It's all read by antennas. Each meter has a repeater that it reports to, and then it goes to a collector, which then comes to us, and we can pull this and we get your meter readings each month. The ERT is the brain of the operations. It sends all the information to us, which allows us to in turn send the information to the customer when they want to access their customer portal.
Along with the ability to read your meter and customer portal, another great feature of this AMI system is the ability to detect water leaks.
Upon implementation of this new project, AMI project, we purchased these, they're called AMI leak sensors. Currently, we have 8,000 of these, but we're seeing that we're going to possibly need some more. But basically what this little device does is you put it directly on the setter inside the water meter box, and what it's doing is it's listening for frequency changes on the main lines or even on the service line that connects from the customer's house to the main line. In 2017, we found 41 leaks with it, saving a mitigated loss of about 117 million gallons. This year alone, we're over 60 leaks found and repaired with a mitigated loss of about 165 million. We're able to really fix these leaks before they surface. We have a gentleman that's on the leak program that'll go out. He investigates, so he does an on-site visit in the field, and he'll listen, and we've got a couple different tools that we use that really pinpoint the leak down to where it's a much less invasive hole that you have to dig. You can usually get it in a 4x4 rather than a whole line repair. He's got two different tools. He'll listen with what we call an acoustic listening device. He'll go down the main service line, just really trying to find the frequency pitch. And then what he'll do, if he's got to go much further distance, he'll use what we call correlators. He'll put those on two valves, and he'll listen to a much longer stretch of pipe. And then at that point, what we do is we turn it into our operation and maintenance department. They'll mark it out, cut the hole out. They'll go and notify the customer if it's on that particular service line. They don't have the water off too long. It just depends on the nature of the leak. And then they come back out, they make their repairs while the meter is still off. That way it's not, nothing's retracted back to the customer by any means. Once it's time to restore the service back to the customer and turn the water meter on, at that point do state regulation testing. So they'll go to the nearest faucet and they'll do all their testing to make sure everything is good. Some of you that are watching right now, it is cold out here. It was 19 degrees this morning. So with these guys out here, they're down in that hole, freezing to death, but they're out there to restore water service to you guys.
Overall Creek Elementary opened up their doors to teachers in smaller school districts to find out about an initiative called STEM, Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math.
How would you describe, so if somebody said, you go to a STEM school, what is it like? How would you explain?
I think it's different than just a normal school because STEM is a way to tie all the subjects together so you can do everything but with connections.
What we're doing here today at Overall Creek is bringing our Rural STEM Collaborative cohort members to tour a STEM school located here in Middle Tennessee. So our Rural STEM Collaborative is a year-long training and mentoring experience for rural teachers that are really trying to increase their capacity and learn more about STEM teaching and learning, particularly around transdisciplinary project-based learning and how to expand their network or STEM ecosystem and leverage resources in the community to support instruction in the school. When we think about STEM, it's not the acronym Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math. Instead, it's strategies that engage minds. It's that hands-on, minds-on learning where students are collaborating together to solve problems. They're looking into the community to see how they can make a difference. And they're using their creativity and problem-solving and critical thinking skills every day in the classroom.
The way that we approach STEM is really real-world learning, so it's important for our students to develop the capacity to solve problems. And what that means is that we're not teaching isolated subjects that just apply to today, but we're really trying to prepare them for the real world.
It kind of allows the teacher to see, like with just one subject, the teacher can see like that they're not super strong in that, but STEM, it kind of has all the subjects combined, so it could be like the students showing their creative side, and this teacher's like, oh, well, I never knew that they would be good at this with math, like kind of combined into it. I think they need to be tested for the program.
I have a little interesting perspective because not only am I inside the school, I'm a parent, and we're kind of a transplant. So it's a little bit of a mixture of all sides here. So I see I'm following both here, but see from the student perspective, I see you guys planning a ton and working hard. But when Evie comes home, not only does she love school like normal, I knew we were switching gears a little bit when she came home and asked for a recycling bin. And I was like, okay, all right. And she was like, well, I want to use it for my STEAM projects. So on her days off, she wants to engineer, and she's like, can you give me a prompt where I can build? And I'm like, this is our fun time now, So it's kind of bleeding over into not only just school, but it's getting her mind shifted in a different direction in all approaches, not just at school, just all the time.
Well, with STEAM and STEM, what I do is I'm responsible for the support areas in the district, and we try to incorporate all the support areas to support what the teachers need to teach the children about different careers, different activities, different engineering, different aspects that apply to the real work world. What I love to see is when the kids' faces light up when they get it and they says, oh, I didn't know that. We have to have this to do that. And they're learning on a much deeper scale now that what is that actually applicable to what they're learning in school, to what it is out there, and like in building of a building. They get to see the actual thing as it's completed.
It's so collaborative amongst the students that it does just open so much up to what they really do know, because they're relating it to other things they've learned, other things they already knew. Presenting them with a real world problem, I can't even put it into words, because it's just like, you don't know what they know until you present them with something like that, and then they just amaze you.
I feel like we're doing what we're supposed to do. That's our job, is to prepare children. So hearing them say that we're doing that is really productive for me, because it lets me know that we're on the right track, and that's important.
In an effort to increase development to Murfreesboro's downtown area, a new zoning overlay district is being proposed by the Murfreesboro Planning Department with guidance from citizens.
Downtown Murfreesboro may have historic charm, but for a city expanding outward, its downtown must also acquire a larger footprint. That's the recommendation of the Murfreesboro 2035 Comprehensive Plan and 2 Murfreesboro draft land use studies, which recognize the importance of downtown investment and downtown redevelopment.
The Historic Bottoms and the North Highlands were planning area studies. So they were done and they give a generalized idea of here's what we should do. They are not ordinances that have to be followed. They are studies that tell us here's what everybody thinks needs to go on here. We are now in the process of this would be an ordinance that directs people.
The ordinance is called the City Core Overlay Expansion Zoning District. In this area, the 2 land use studies are included, as well as 2 other character areas.
It doesn't erase the underlying zoning. It's just an overlay that adds some meat to it and helps direct what we're trying to happen there. So the 4 character overlays, Historic Bottoms and the North Highlands study are character areas. One is the downtown area, and then the other is just an area that helped kind of finish out that whole circle of an area that really all fits together well, and planning staff felt it needed to be included. It gets really down to what is sitting on that street right now and what the vision was that came not from us, but from these studies that were done with all this public input on what needed to be on that property. We want to bring downtown back to life in a bigger way than it is now. It's great now, it can be even more so. We can have more people out and about on the sidewalks and going in and out of businesses constantly. We want to bring that economic revitalization, and that here's the heart of the city. We want people to feel like when they get to downtown, they're really somewhere, and that this identifies who Murfreesboro is. That's what this is about.
It is at the stage now where this proposed ordinance is open to the public for discussion. After that, it will go through the normal process where it goes to the Planning Commission for a public hearing and then to the City Council.
We're just, again, giving the public an opportunity to come out and talk about it and say, you know, I liked this study, I thought it was great, or I didn't like the study, whatever. Give us their input on what they think, maybe they think something has changed since those studies took place. So we want to listen and hear that and see if there's something we need to adjust in it. We're not here to put out, here's what we want. We're here to put out what the community decides it wants to see. The community belongs to all of us, and so that's why we want public input.
Tuesday, February 19th, an informational open house will be held for public input at City Hall Rotunda from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Murfreesboro City Schools is proud to announce the 2019 Teachers of the Year. Teachers from each school were nominated for the prestigious Education Award supported by the Tennessee Department of Education. 24 teachers were chosen for the honor based on their commitment to teaching excellence both in and outside of the classroom. From those 24 teachers, 2 educators were selected as system-level honorees and will represent Murfreesboro City Schools at the regional level. To find out which teachers won this prestigious award, visit cityschools.net. The City of Murfreesboro announced that Larry Flowers has agreed to become the Murfreesboro Police Department's new Public Information Officer. He will report to Public Information Director Mike Browning within the City Manager's office. Flowers comes with a wealth of experience in the communications field, having worked nearly 29 years in television news. Most recently, Flowers has served as a multimedia journalist for WKRN News 2 in Nashville. He held the same position at WSMV Channel 4 News, also in Nashville, for 14 years. Murfreesboro City Hall will be closed Monday, February 18th in observance of President's Day. Visit the city's website to find the hours of the city's recreation facilities. Well, that's it for this edition of In the City. As always, for more information about the City of Murfreesboro or any of the stories you've seen here, you can always visit our website at www.murfreesborotn.gov. And if you want to see one of the stories that you've seen today or catch up on some of the latest city news, you can always visit the City of Murfreesboro's YouTube channel. I'm Michael Linn White, and until next time, we look forward to seeing you in the city.